recording and we can go live on Facebook. So students, in the chat box, I've shared some links. So in the case you're not able to attend demo on Zoom due to any technical issue, you can watch the demo on Facebook. Okay. Yes, I think Aarti ma'am, we can start.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Rajan sir. So hi everyone, a very warm welcome to all the students and parents over here from Olympiad Success Family. I'm Aarti and I will be your host for today. So students, today we are here for a demo and interaction program for grade 8 science. And so you all there would be 3 subjects in this: physics, chemistry, and biology. Right. So now why Olympiad success classes? So students, you would be knowing that maybe like few of you must not be knowing, but then Olympiad Success is India's largest online preparation platform for Olympiad examinations. And 3 years back, we had started with the live classes. So our main focus is on conceptual clarity. So our mentors would try to strengthen your concepts and make sure that your foundation is strong, because 8th it's really a critical class, and soon, like within a year or two, you would be appearing for many competitive examinations, and for that your foundation should be really strong, right? And for that we have wonderful mentors with us. So students, for this demo session, the flow would be, first of all, there would be introduction by our mentors. Okay, so we have 2 mentors with us, Renuka ma'am and Aishwarya ma'am. So Renuka ma'am would be taking up physics and Aishwarya ma'am would be taking up your biology and chemistry, right? So basically, since this is a demo session, so your demo class would be for around 40 to 45 minutes, right? And but then your regular live classes will be of 75 minutes. And after the mentor's introduction, we would be having a short presentation by Rajan sir, followed by a short tour of the platform by me. Post that, we would be having a short question and answer round. So everything we would be keeping short. Okay. So if you have any doubts, any queries, you can let us know. You can write it down in the chat section. And as the round arrives, the QA session arrives, we would be answering all your queries. And post the QA session, we will be starting with the demo session for which you all are here. And once again, I'm requesting all of you, like it would be really nice if you can turn on your videos, because this would be helpful for the session to be very interactive, right? So over to Aishwarya ma'am first, and then Renuka ma'am. So you can proceed with your introduction, and we welcome you on board, both the mentors.
Thank you, ma'am. So good evening, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me. I'm audible to everybody. Himnish and Somoyak, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Videos, rest. I hope everybody can hear me properly. Like ma'am said, it would have been lovely if you could switch on your videos, but nevertheless, so my name is Aishwarya. I am from Delhi. By education or my qualification is that I have an MPhil in botany, University of Delhi. Also, I have qualified NET, and also I have a B.Ed degree, and I have been teaching for competitive exams for the past 3 years, and my expertise lie in the subject of science mainly. So I have been taking
Aishwarya ma'am, I think your voice is breaking in between.
Yes, ma'am. I think so. There is some net issue.
Network issue.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better, but then in between it is breaking.
I'll just check my network. For me, my network is fine, but even your voice is breaking.
Yeah, so it's showing us that your network bandwidth is low actually, and no worries. Meanwhile, Aishwarya ma'am, you get your net fixed. I would request Renuka ma'am to give a brief about herself. Welcome, Renuka ma'am. Ma'am, your voice is not that clear. Yeah, if you can. No, ma'am.
Okay, I start and if it is not, please
Yeah, you may please proceed, but then the voice is very low at your end, actually.
yes, I can hear you, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible now?
Ma'am, you're not audible clearly, but no problem. You can proceed. You can please speak loud. Maybe then we can hear you.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rita. Basically, I'm from Maharashtra, but currently staying in Hyderabad. I have completed a MSc in physics and also done BA. I have been in this field for last 5 years, and I'll be taking physics for you. Sir, am I audible?
Ma'am, you are like the voice, actually a lot of disturbance is coming and your voice is also very low actually. So it's very difficult for the students to, yeah. So even Akshata is saying it's not audible. Yeah. It's very difficult to hear you actually.
I'm trying to speak a little louder, but still I'm not audible.
No, ma'am, I think you're not audible.
Yes. Okay, so let us do one thing. Like meanwhile, Renuka ma'am, you get your audio fixed up, your microphone basically fixed up. I would request Rajan sir to take up the presentation, and then
Sure,
I
ma'am.
would be, yeah.
So I think my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome students. Welcome to the demo of class 8 Science Olympiad. Let me tell you about us, about Olympiad Success. So Olympiad Success is India's largest online preparation platform for Olympiad exam. So students, we have live classes, and this is third year in live classes. And students, we also have School Plus program, and in School Plus program, we offer 8 courses that are mathematics, English, science, logical reasoning, communication, spoken and written both, Vedic maths, and coding. What else? We also offer online CBSE plus Olympiad classes for grades 6 to 10, and one-on-one preparation classes for International Mathematics Olympiad like SESMO, CMO, HKIMO, TIMO, Math Count, US Math Competition, Math Kangaroo, and also PRMO. We also give JEE main preparation classes. So meet the rank holder for session 21-22. So many students in Olympiad Success got international rank 1. These are the students. Now about this course students, there will be around 20 students in the class, and the classes will be conducted on Zoom platform. So there will be 3 sessions per week. The days will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the timing will be 6:30 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. So the class duration will be 75 minutes, and there will be a break of 5 minutes in between. The session include mix of theory, practice question, doubt session, and we are also going to discuss previous year paper. So students, you will also get reading material and practice question that is available on the dashboard of Olympiad Success. And with this course, you will get free access to the Olympiad Success platform for practice, topic-wise practice test for science as well as for logical reasoning. Okay. Now the syllabus link I will share with you in the chat box. The fees for this course is 11,680, and there will be 55 session in this course. Payment link I will share in the chat box. So the fee include online classes, daily reading notes and exercise, practice of previous year paper, and like I said, you will get access to the Olympiad Success platform for science as well as for logical reasoning, topic-wise practice test. Now to join this course, what you need a laptop with good internet speed. And students, as you know, like preparation for Olympiad exam is tougher than regular school curriculum, as there will be some topics from your upper grade also. So students will be required to spend approx 2 hours every day to cope up with the curriculum, and parent support will be needed to check answers and repeat concepts. So students, live classes for this course will start from 1st July, and currently we having students from 3,800 schools, and we are catering in 35 plus countries. So this is about this course students. Now Aarti ma'am will give you a tour to the Olympiad Success platform. After that, if you have any doubt, any query, you can ask in the chat box. So over to you, Aarti ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rajan sir, for the the presentation. Now, let me quickly take you through the tour of the platform. So, in case if any doubts are coming in, you can write it down in the chat section, and we would be happy to answer. All right. So, students, like once you enroll for this program, you can access all the reading material and topic-wise worksheets as mentioned by Rajan sir by going to the website, which is olympiadsuccess.com/login. You have to enter your credentials and click on the sign in button. Once you click on the sign in button, you would be redirected to the profile page. You have to complete your profile to access the other tabs on this dashboard. Okay. So the two most important things here are live classes and the worksheets. I will be taking you through each one of them. So first of all, for live classes, so here you get to access the content. You have to click on science. So under the subject list, as you can see, many subjects are coming. The reason is that I've subscribed for all the subjects. Then after selecting the subject, you have to select the topic. So let's say crop production and management. So once you select that, reading material, practice questions and answer keys will come up. You have to click on the reading material to see the reading material for that particular topic. So this is available in the form of PDF. So everything related to that topic will be available in this PDF. Then related questions would be available in the questions, practice questions PDF. So here, if you see, like all the questions would be given, you have to mark your answers, and then finally you can compare your answers by going to the answer keys given by us. So here the answer key would be given to you, like what is the answer for which question. And then we have a schedule for you guys, like specified. So what would be taken in session 1, session 2, and so on. So if you see here, like in session 1, we would be taking this, session 2, this, session 3 test. So after every topic or two, we would be conducting a test so that we understand that you are following each and everything. And if I go at the bottom, so you know that there are 55 sessions in this class, in this course, but then your course will get completed in 49 sessions. As you see here, the remaining 6 sessions would be for your super classes. So these super classes, in these super classes, there will be lots and lots of practice. Basically, it would be doubt solving, solving of previous year papers. And if you have any queries, any problem with any of the questions or topic, you can come up and discuss the same and get everything resolved. So the remaining 6 sessions would be absolutely for your practice, right? And then finally, we have the holiday calendar. So on this page, you can see the dates. So on these dates, your classes will not be conducted. And then here you see Zoom meeting ID and password. So here your meeting ID and password will be displayed so that you can log into the meeting using these details. Then secondly, we have the worksheets. As Rajan sir had mentioned, that you would be getting free topic-wise worksheets for science and logical reasoning. So what you have to do is just come here and you can practice from the topic-wise worksheets given over here. So as you see here, there are 95 worksheets available for you to practice. So these would be available online only. You have to click on the take exam button and then practice from these worksheets. And finally, the answer keys would be available under the performance section. So you have to just click on that, select the subject and select the worksheet which you had appeared, and then click on the view button. So you would be able to see the answer key for the worksheet which you had attempted, right? So this is all about the platform. And now if we have any doubts, we would be taking up them. Otherwise, Rajan sir would be asking you a few questions and then we can start with the demo session.
So students, do anyone have any doubt, any query? No, sir. Okay. Okay, everything is clear. Okay. So let me ask one question. So students, can anyone tell me like what are the days on which we having the classes? So it is actually kind of a fastest finger first question. No one know? Okay. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, correct. And what are the timings? 6:30 to 7:45 a.m. Units are important in physics also. Yes, 6:30 to 7:45 p.m. Correct, correct. Okay, last question. What are the number of questions? 20? No,
55.
55. Yes, correct. 55 sessions. Okay, so students, no one have any query. So can we start with the demo then?
Yes, absolutely. So I believe today we have got a wonderful bunch of kids over here who are responding to each and every query.
Correct.
So I believe the mentors would be having a great time. Okay. Yeah, Rajan sir.
Yes, so I think we can start with the demo. So Aishwarya ma'am, I think you can take.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll just share my screen with everyone. Then we can start with the demo. So as all of you know, I will be taking bio and chemistry for you. So today for the demo, we will be discussing a chapter from biology, which is microorganisms. Okay, just give me a second. Yes, I hope everybody can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's talk about microorganisms. Can anyone tell me what do you understand when you see the term microorganism? Anything, whatever comes to your mind when you see the term microorganism. You can put your answers in the chat. Yes, what is a microorganism? What do you understand by a microorganism? Okay, organisms which are very small, or it is a small organism, or something that cannot be seen with the naked eyes. Okay, Akshita says bad organisms, tiny living organisms can only be seen through microscope. All right, absolutely correct. So most of you are correct when you say micro means miniature or mini, right? And organism means a living being. So when you say microorganisms are organisms which can be only seen through a microscope. Okay, that is why the name microorganisms. All right, so when we see it under the microscope, these microorganisms are magnified so that we can study it. It cannot be seen with your naked eyes. All right, now when you say, like someone said, Akshita said that they are bad organisms, that is not necessarily true. Most of your microorganisms are useful as well. There are, of course, organisms that can harm you, but then there are microorganisms which are useful in our day-to-day life also. Okay, so like it said that they can be single-celled or they can be multicellular. What do you understand by single-celled and multicellular? Like if I say that an organism is a single-cell organism, what do you mean by that? It has only one cell, correct. And multicellular means it has more than one cell. So a single-celled organism which can perform all the basic functions of life, that means all metabolic activities, like your reproduction, respiration, cell division, or even photosynthesis for some organisms. So all metabolic processes, if it can be performed by a single cell and it can survive on its own, it is known as a single-celled organism, whereas multicellular organism will function together. So more than one cell, so it can be 3 cells, 4 cells, it can be 1,000 million cells, like for example, humans, we are all multicellular organisms, and our cells function together as organs or organ system. So it can be any which way. Okay. Now, if you see here, the examples, bacteria, algae, and protozoa. These are the examples that are given for single-celled organism. And for multicellular organism, again, there is algae and fungi. That means that there can be some organisms or some algae which can be single-celled also, and some algae which can be multicellular as well. Yes, Maulik, amoeba is a single-cell organism. So before I move on to the categories of microorganism, can someone tell me what do you understand by eukaryotic organisms and prokaryotic organisms? Because that is one of the most important classification when it comes to microorganisms or single-celled and multicellular organisms. Does anyone know what is a prokaryotic and what is a eukaryotic organism? Yes. Who can prepare their own food? Who's they? Prokaryotes are bacteria. Okay. So how are they being classified? So I'm saying prokaryotes. A prokaryotic organism and eukaryotic organism. Which don't have a nuclear membrane. Eukaryotes are organisms whose cells have a nucleus, okay. And Joanne says that prokaryotes are the ones which do not have a nuclear membrane. All right. So absolutely correct. When we say pro, we mean primitive. So these are primitive. Karyotes mean nucleus. So these are organisms with the primitive nucleus. That means they do not have a nuclear membrane. Now, prokaryotes are always unicellular in nature. Okay, so your bacteria is a prokaryote. However, when we talk about eukaryotes, eu means true and karyotes again means nucleus. That means they have a true nucleus, which means that they have a nuclear membrane or a proper nucleus in the cell. All other organisms, algae, protozoa, fungi, amoeba, yeast, whatever comes to your mind except bacteria, we are all eukaryotic organisms. Even human beings, animals, we are all eukaryotic organisms because we have a well-defined nucleus with a nuclear membrane. Okay, so there are mainly 4 categories into which microorganisms are divided. First, we have bacteria. Second is fungi. Third, protozoa. And fourth, we have algae. Okay, now let's quickly talk about what these organisms are. So first of all, bacteria, like I said, they are unicellular and they are prokaryotic organism. This you have to remember. This is very important because bacteria are the only organisms which are prokaryotic in nature. Okay, since they are microorganisms, obviously they can be just seen through the microscope. Now, bacteria not only lacks a well-defined nucleus, but it also lacks cell organelles which do not have a membrane. Which have a membrane. That type of organelle is absent. Can you tell me what kind of organelles have membranes? So this sentence, they lack a few organelles and a well-defined nucleus with a nuclear membrane. So do you know of any organelles which have a membrane normally, which might be present, which might be absent in a bacteria, but might be present in a eukaryotic organism? Do you know what organelles are? Inside the cell, you have different organelles. What are they? Nucleus is an organelle. Mitochondria is an organelle, absolutely correct. Plastids or chloroplasts are organelles, right? Yes, even vacuoles. You can have ER, that is endoplasmic reticulum. Yes, Ojasvi, ribosomes. So all these organelles, which I have just mentioned, so mitochondria, ER, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, your vacuoles, and plastids. They are all surrounded by a membrane. So all these organelles which are surrounded by a membrane is absolutely absent in any prokaryotic cells. The only organelle that is present in a bacterial cell is ribosomes. Ribosomes do not have any kind of membrane around it. All right, so let's just have a quick look at this diagram. So if you see here, you can see ribosomes present here inside the cell of a bacteria. So this is a typical cell of the bacteria. All right, they've shown a 3D structure. This is the outside portion and then this is the inside portion. If you carefully look at this structure, here in the center, this is marked as a nucleoid region. Okay, nucleoid region means where the nuclear material, or let's say the chromosomes or the DNA, will be present. So it's not like that it is free floating everywhere inside the cell, since it does not have a nuclear membrane. All right, that doesn't happen. It will have a designated area and it will be present, confined to that area only. Okay, around it, if you see, there are certain ribosomes present, which will help in protein synthesis. Okay. Other than that, a bacterial cell is usually surrounded by 2 layers of cell envelope. The outer one is nothing but the cell wall, and the inner one is the cell membrane. Okay, so if you see this, this is the outer cell wall, and then this is the inner cell membrane. Now outside you see these hair-like structure coming out. These hair-like structure are nothing but cilia present. Okay, I'm going to write it here only, cilia. So 2 things you have to remember, cilia and this is the flagella, a tail-like structure. Cilia is used for grabbing food as well as for locomotion. There can be 8 and above. So number of cilia can be 8 or more, whereas flagella usually is between 1 to 4, not more than that. Flagella is only used for locomotion. It has no role in grabbing of food. Okay, so the whip-like structure will just, or the tail-like structure will move around, which will allow the bacteria to move around or swim in the water or in a liquid condition. Okay, till now, do you have any doubt? If you have any doubt, just let me know. So we're just talking about the structure. We will talk about the function. These are the functions mainly, but right now we're talking about the structure. Any doubt in the structure? 2 envelopes, cell wall, cell membrane. Outside the cell wall, you can see hair-like projections, which are cilia. Then there's a tail-like outgrowth, which is flagella. Inside the cell, you will have a nucleoid region, which contains the chromosomes. And around it, you have ribosomes, which will help in protein synthesis. Okay, now here there is something known as pili. Pili is nothing but an outgrowth like this from the cell of the bacteria. Now, it might not be present in all types of bacteria. It is present in only some special type of bacteria. These special type of bacteria are able to transfer their chromosome to an adjacent bacterial cell with the help of this pili. Okay, so it is not necessary that it is present in all organisms or in all bacteria. This is a specialized structure which will allow any kind of genetic recombination to occur. That means a bacterial cell can evolve or become a different strain, or there are different types of bacteria, right? So they become like that by sharing their genetic material, like how in humans you get your genetic combination from your mother and your father, and there is a combination of those genetic data or the DNA, and then eventually a third organism or you are formed, right? Similarly, even the bacterial cell can do that. And another thing that you can see is fruit granule. Fruit granule again is just for storage. It is again not necessary that it is present in all bacterial cell. This food granule is grabbed by the cilia and engulfed into the cell. And eventually this food granule will be digested to release energy. Now tell me, does anyone have any doubt? Either everybody's understood everything or no one has understood anything. Yes, I hope. Cilia. You didn't understand cilia and flagella? Okay, cilia is nothing but, cilia is nothing but an outgrowth. So if you just look at the cilia carefully, from the protoplasm, the cilia is coming out like this actually. Okay. And under the microscope, it just appears like hairs, tiny hair-like structure. Cilia is present for grabbing of food because a bacterial cell is a single cell structure, right? There is no mouth or there is no absorption that can occur from its surface. So how amoeba grabs food with the help of pseudopodia, similarly, cilia will also grab the food and then engulf it inside. Okay. Also, it will allow swimming or moving of the cell. And flagella is nothing but a tail-like structure. Again, an outgrowth of the protoplasm only. It will allow just locomotion. So simply it will just move like this, whiplash movement. Whiplash means like this. And then eventually the cell can move forward. So bacteria is usually present where some amount of moisture or some amount of liquid is there, right? It usually doesn't survive in dry conditions. If it is surviving in dry conditions, then it might not require cilia and flagella. Not all bacterial cells have cilia and flagella. Okay. Function of pili ogisci is to transfer this genetic material to another cell. So if it has a pili, it can attach to another bacterial cell and transfer this genetic material. Okay. Not all entirely, a part of it, so that some recombination can occur. Okay. Now there are certain bacteria that are disease causing. Okay, so you have a lot of bacterial disease, bacterial infections that are caused by bacteria. For example, pneumonia is a disease caused by bacteria. Cholera is a disease caused by bacteria. Even your typhoid is caused by bacteria, while others are beneficial for humans. For example, lactobacillus. So now I'm just saying these terms. We will talk about it in detail when we start our classes. So I'm just giving you a brief, just some examples that we will study later. So don't fret or don't worry right now that, ma'am is saying such big names and not writing it and not giving us examples. So this is just an overview. Don't worry, we will talk about it in detail. So for example, I was talking about beneficial for humans like your lactobacillus, which helps in conversion of milk into curd. That is a helpful bacteria. Apart from that, there are bacteria present in the gut and intestines of various organisms also. Example, your cattle. So cow, buffalo, goats, these organisms have certain bacteria which help in digestion of the plant material that the cattle is eating, because the plant cell is very difficult to digest. So only this bacteria can break it down. And these are present in the gut and the intestines of various organisms. Even in our gut, there are certain helpful bacteria that are present which help in breaking down of food material. Okay. Now, certain bacteria are also present in the roots of plants. These bacteria will help in fixation of nitrogen. Okay. When we say fixation of nitrogen, what do you understand by nitrogen fixation? Can someone tell me? Do you know what is atmospheric nitrogen fixation? Or this sentence, to fix atmospheric nitrogen. Does anyone know? Yes, Abhijit?
Yes, ma'am. When the atmospheric nitrogen converts into the plant nitrogen, when the soil converts it to the nitrates, that is known as nitrogen fixation.
Absolutely correct. So Plants cannot utilize atmospheric nitrogen or N2 directly, right? So they need to be converted to nitrates or nitrites, and certain bacteria will do that. And yes, Mannat has given the answer, rhizobium. Absolutely correct, Mannat. So rhizobium is one such bacteria which help in fixation of nitrogen, and others help in decomposition. So there are a lot of anaerobic bacteria which are involved in decomposition of any kind of organic matter, and they will also help in your sewage treatment. I'm sure you must have done it in class 7. A lot of organisms help in decomposition as well, right? Let's move to the next slide now. All right. Now, depending on the shape of the bacteria, they can be classified into different organisms or different types. Rod shape is also known as bacillus. Okay, so rod shaped, right? So E. coli, Salmonella, even Lactobacillus, they are all rod shaped bacteria. Then we have spherical shaped bacteria. Spherical shaped is usually known as coccus. Okay, now there are two types, Staphylococcus and Streptococcus. Staphylococcus means if they are present in a bunch, like a grape bunch, right? That is Staphylococcus. Streptococcus means if they are present in a linear manner, then it is Streptococcus. Okay, so this spherical shaped structure that is shown is nothing but Streptococcus. No problem, Akshita. That is absolutely not an issue. We're all here to learn only. No problem. And coming to the third one, we have spiral shaped, and spiral shaped is usually known as spirulum. Okay, so spiral shaped bacteria, and certain examples are given, Treponema and Borrelia, right? So simply they can ask you a question like, out of the following, which of the following examples are of a spherical shaped bacteria or a spiral shaped bacteria? So the common examples you need to know that will keep on occurring, especially those which cause diseases like, E. coli, Salmonella, Streptococcus. These are the ones which cause maximum amount of diseases. So when you keep learning about them, try to pick out examples. We've also picked out examples which are much more common for you to, it will reoccur in different classifications, as well as it is easier for you to remember. Okay. Any doubt in bacteria, anyone? Otherwise, we'll move to the next one, which is fungus or fungi. Can we move to fungi if you have no doubts? Okay, great. All right, coming to fungi. Fungi are of two types. You can have unicellular fungi and you can have multicellular fungi also. There is only one unicellular fungi, which is your yeast. Okay, rest all are multicellular. Now you must be wondering that when we define microscopic organisms or microorganisms, we said that they cannot be seen with the naked eye, right? That they cannot, you have to use a microscope. But you can see fungus with a naked eye, yes or no? Have you seen fungus growing? Sometimes you forget to take out your tiffin and there's fungus on the food, on bread, even on your clothes. Sometimes if there's moisture, right, a white colored layer is formed. Yes. So why are we calling it microscopic organism? We can just simply, yes, even on pickles, correct. So mainly of food and all, you see a lot of fungus. And mushrooms, right? Mushrooms we all eat. Yes, mushroom is also a fungi. So even mushroom is something that you can see with your naked eye. So why are we calling it a microscopic organism? Do you know why? Can someone think of why we call it a microscopic organism? Okay, can someone tell me, is fungi an animal or a plant or neither? It's none. It's a separate organism altogether. Yes, Abhijit?
It's not a plant, neither it's any, it's like a microorganism, and it's not a plant or anything, it's other.
Correct. So it is neither a plant, it's nor an animal. It is a separate category. All right. Yes, it is a saprotrophic organism. So it feeds on only dead organic matter. So it's a saprophytic organism. We are calling it a microscopic organism or a microorganism because usually fungi multiply with the help of spores. Okay, so they do not produce any seeds, or they are not undergoing any kind of sexual reproduction. Their main method of multiplication is asexual means, and that is usually by production of spores. Those spores are the ones which are microscopic in nature, and hence we call it a microorganism, right? And when you see a fungus, you will see the fungus when it has been grown at a very large stage, right? So what you see on the bread or on your clothes or on food, that is multiple organisms that has grown. It is not just a single fungus that has grown. It's a group of fungi that has grown on that material, and that is how you can see it, right? So can someone tell me benefits and advantages and non-advantages of fungi? Let's talk about advantages first. You can put it down in the chat, whatever comes to your mind. Fungi that can be useful and fungi that are harmful, whatever comes to your mind. Useful fungi, anyone? No useful fungi? Penicillium, correct. What else? Penicillium is a fungi that we use for medicine. So fungi can be used for medicines, right? Yeast is known as baker's friend, or we simply call it baker's yeast, because in all your baking products, your bread, your doughs, we add yeast, right? Yes, all your mushrooms, truffles, normal mushrooms, that is all edible and it is rich in proteins. Anything else? So medicines, it can be used. It has a lot of benefits. They can be used as antibiotics, right? They can be used in food. They are helping in our ecosystem also, because they are saprotrophic organisms. So they can decompose all the dead organic matter as well. So that is also helpful for us. And then of course we have the harmful fungi as well, which can be grown on spoiled food. So the ones that you see growing on bread or on pickles and everything, that is harming us, of course. And then there are fungus which cause diseases in humans also, like your ringworm and all. They are skin diseases which are caused by fungi, right? Now, the major thing that you have to remember about the structure is that first, it will lack chlorophyll. Hence, it is a saprotroph in nature. Okay. So, and structure wise, except yeast, it is a multicellular organism. So it will have it can have any type of structure, in the sense it does not have a root, leaf, or a stem structure, but it has a thallus sort of a structure which is undefined. Okay. And usually it reproduces by spores. We will talk about this in detail. Okay. Coming to protozoans now. What are protozoas? Protozoas are also unicellular organisms, right? But they are usually eukaryotic in nature. Okay, so your amoeba and all, they come under protozoa. Now, protozoa are mostly disease-causing organisms. Okay, we have not found any kind of useful protozoa as of now. Mostly, we have seen protozoa which can cause serious diseases. So sleeping sickness, malaria, They are all caused by protozoas. Now, they can be either free living, that means they do not cause any kind of diseases, like your amoeba. There are certain types of amoeba which will not cause any disease, but there are others which are parasitic on organisms. So, like your malaria causing organism, which is nothing but Plasmodium, that is a parasitic organism. Similarly, sleeping sickness causing protozoa, that is also parasitic. So all kinds of protozoa can be found. Okay. Now, the one that is free living, so the one that is parasitic is obviously getting nutrition from the host. But the one that is free living, how will it get its nutrition of food? Because it is definitely not autotrophic in nature. So how will it get food? How does amoeba get food? So amoeba is an aquatic sort of protozoa. It is usually found in water bodies. How does amoeba get food, or what is the food that amoeba is eating? Does anyone know? No one knows? We all know amoeba, right? Small organisms. Okay. So yeah, amoeba is feeding on other small organisms, mainly your phytoplanktons or zooplanktons, which are other unicellular organisms which may be autotrophic in nature, or they will just grab food with the help of their pseudopodia, engulf the food inside them, and then digest it slowly. Okay. So amoeba is using pseudopodia, and then there are other organisms, like if you see this, yeah, if you see this one, this is a paramecia. It has numerous amounts of cilia on it, right? So cilia again will help in grabbing of food, and they might also have presence of flagella for locomotion. So that is similar to what you have in bacteria. However, bacteria is a prokaryotic organism, whereas protozoa is a eukaryotic organism. So any doubt so far, anyone? No, cilia itself is plural only. There is never a single cilia present. Cilia will be either 8 or more. Okay. Okay, coming to algae. Algae is a plant. Okay. Algae is one of the most primitive plant that is present on Earth. Okay. So when you see an algae, since it's a plant, of course, it will have chlorophyll present, right? Presence of chlorophyll in algae makes it an autotrophic organism, right? So there will be chlorophyll present, and it will be green in color because of that. Now the color change can be based on species. So different types of algae can be present. Mainly we have 3 types: red, green, and brown algae. But all of them have chlorophyll in them. The color red and brown comes from an additional color that can be present, or additional pigment that is present. However, all 3 are autotrophic in nature, but they appear red and brown because of presence of an additional pigment. Okay. Now, algae can be both, again, it can be both beneficial as well as a problem for certain organisms. So if I say beneficial, why? Because they are plants, right? They are the most primitive types of plants. They will provide the environment with lots of oxygen, as well as they are eaten by a lot of aquatic organisms. So they are, they are the biggest producers in the aquatic life or the aquatic environment. So that is their benefit, of course. However, sometimes what happens is the algae can grow quickly in very large quantities. So they multiply very quickly, which can cause problems, especially in your stagnant water. So, sometimes you must have seen that on lakes or ponds nearby, if it's a small pond or a small lake, there is a layer of green structure that you can see, like the entire pond or the lake becomes green in color on the top. That is nothing but the growth of excessive algae, which can block oxygen for the aquatic organisms, which can eventually kill all the aquatic organisms and even dry up these lakes and ponds. This concept where lakes and ponds age or die because of excessive algae is known as eutrophication. This I'm sure you must have done it in class 7th in Natural Resources chapter. And the term that we use when algae grows out of control, that is known as algal bloom. So blooming of algae. Yes, there are useful algae. So like I said, algae can be used definitely for the environment. It is providing oxygen. It is an autotroph. So it is one of the major producers in the aquatic environment. Plus there are a lot of algae that we eat, like your kelp and all, seaweed, the ones which are used to make sushi and all, that is all edible algae. And algae are also, there are certain brown and red algae which are very, very high in proteins, and they can be used as supplements as well as they can be used to make medicines. So yes, there are useful algae as well. Any doubt in algae, anyone? Yes, no? Don't know? I hope there's no one who doesn't know what's happening. Okay, let's move forward. Now, coming to viruses, all right? So viruses are also microscopic, right? However, we do not consider them microorganisms because they are not living when they are outside the host cell. So we usually consider viruses as acellular organisms, right? So when we divide organisms into different categories, we divide them into acellular organisms, prokaryotic organisms, and then eukaryotic organisms. So viruses are acellular because if they do not behave like a cell if they are outside the host. Inside the host, they do behave like a living organism, and that too because they have presence of a genetic material. If the genetic material was not present, then they would not have caused infection or could not have multiplied also. So a typical virus does not have any kind of organelles. It just has a genetic material and a protein capsule to protect that genetic material. That's it. Okay, rest all the functioning, multiplication and everything, it all relies on the host cell to multiply or to grow or for nutrition. That is why if you have a viral disease, it is much more difficult to eradicate it or treat it as compared to a bacterial disease. Okay, because the virus will incorporate its genetic material into your genetic material and then command your genetic material to produce products for itself. Okay, so when you are not able to treat that virus or the viral disease because you don't know specifically where that genetic material has integrated itself, right? That is why usually it takes your immune system or your immunity only to get rid of the virus. And once that is done, your immunity or your immune system has a memory. So usually you do not get the viral disease again, right? So if you have had smallpox or chickenpox once, you don't get it again. And then there are certain other examples of viruses as well, like common cold, influenza, smallpox, polio, and of course the major one which has been troubling us for so long, which is COVID-19, right? So they are all viral diseases. So any doubt till now, anyone? So mainly you have to focus on what is the main basic structure of these organisms. What are they? How are they feeding? That means, are they saprophytic? Are they parasitic? Are they autotrophic? That is one, their mode of nutrition has to be remembered. And whether or not they can cause any kind of, there's like specialized diseases if they have, or any kind of additional advantage that they have, that all you have to know. Okay, so simply a question can be asked that out of the following diseases, which of them is a viral disease or a bacterial disease or a protozoan disease, and you have to, you should be able to identify it, right? Any doubt, anyone? Please feel free to ask any doubts if you have any. Don't feel shy. All of you have switched off your camera also, so that I can't see your faces. Nice. Okay, let's move forward then. Okay, where do organisms live? That means what is the habitat of any kind of organism, right? So microorganisms are cosmopolitan in nature. That means they are found everywhere. They can adapt and survive to any kind of environment. They get found in the soils, rivers, they are found on plants, they are found inside animals, on animals, oceans, tap water, everywhere. All right. So they are cosmopolitan in nature. They can even be found in ice cold conditions or hot springs. Okay. So when I say ice cold conditions, you know what? The major problem of global warming is not just that the sea level is rising. We are also worried about, as biologists, we are also that there might be certain bacteria or certain microorganisms that might have been frozen or are not, functional at a particular temperature. But if the temperature rises, they will be active and might bring more diseases along with them, for which we don't have any kind of medicines or any kind of cure to it, right? So that is also a major concern amongst a lot of biologists, right? Other than that, they can live inside the host also and live on the host also. So bacteria and fungi or algae, they can live inside as well and outside as well. And organisms can live in colonies also. So your streptococcus and staphylococcus, they are single-celled organisms, but they are forming a colony, which allows them to become resistant to a lot of, if we are trying to get rid of them, they just become resistant and become much more rigid as compared to a single bacteria, which might be living alone. Okay. All right. Let's talk about certain microorganisms and how are they affecting us. All right. So this is a list of a few microorganisms which are helpful for us. So they can be used for cakes, curd, and bread. So like I said, yeast can be used, lactobacillus can be used to make cakes and bread. We use yeast normally, and curd is by lactobacillus, which converts lactogen in the milk to curd, right? Then they are used to clean sewage water and oil spills. So there are a lot of bacteria, mainly anaerobic bacteria, which are used in sewage water, right? And then basically it helps in cleaning up the water and also cleaning up the oil spill, right? Akshita, there might not be, there was supposed to be a physics session, but I think there is some problem with.
Yes, students, today we will cover only biology part. Okay. And yeah. So, Aishwarya ma'am, I think you can also wrap up with this topic as we are running out of the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'll just quickly.
Okay.
I'll just quickly. I think another slide is left. I'll just quickly
Sure.
go through this. Okay. So yeah. So then there are of course bacteria that are fixing nitrogen and improving the soil fertility. This is again a repetition. So like I told you, examples are given. They can also be used in making cheese, pickles, and other dairy products. Then another use is of production of alcohol. So for fermentation, yeast is used. Yeast is also known as brewer's yeast. So your beer and alcohol, wine, they are used for fermentation of sugar, and it is converted into alcohol. Then we have medicinal uses also. So while I was discussing each and every microorganism, we've already discussed this in detail. So someone had said penicillin, and then there was acidophilin, then streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin. These are all antibiotics which are obtained from different microorganisms, mainly fungi. And then we have vaccines. So what are vaccines? Vaccines, what we do is we usually use a dead or a weakened microorganism, usually a microorganism which is causing the disease, right? And then injecting it as a vaccine. So our body is creating antibodies against it. And this antibodies that are made by our body will be present like a memory in our immune system. So when the body comes in contact with the actual disease causing organism, the antibodies will be produced immediately or will be present for defense. So that is the purpose of vaccines. Now, some of the vaccines you need to take, like, after every 6 months or 1 year, like, usually tetanus, we take it regularly. But then there are certain vaccines, especially for viruses, which we do not need to take multiple times. So, or it can be taken for a short duration. So like polio vaccines, we usually take it from till 5 years of age. And after that, your immune system builds up. So there are different types of vaccines. This also, we've, of course, spoken about increasing soil fertility by nitrogen fixation, cleaning the environment because they are detritivores in nature or they are saprophytic in nature, so they can decompose. And that's it. Now, when we talk about the demo, when we talk about it in detail, we will also talk about each and every example of useful organisms and of course harmful ones, right?
Yes, thank you, Shara ma'am, for the wonderful demo. So students, can you let us know how was the demo? How was the session? You can write in the chat box. Do you like it? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Abhijit. Very informative. Awesome. Yes, sir. Was helpful. Yes, sir. So much. Okay. Thank you, students, for the wonderful adjectives. So, students, I am sharing some links in the chat box. Just do one thing, just copy and save the links. Okay, this will help you to join the course. And in the meantime, one student asked me that you will get the recorded lectures or not. Yes, definitely, you will get the recordings of each and every lecture. Okay, I just want to clear that. So in that case, if anyone have any other doubt, you can ask. Do any have any doubt? Okay, then. Okay. Thank you, Ashwara ma'am, for the wonderful session, and thank you, students, for joining today. So Renuka ma'am is also there. Due to some problem, she's not able to take the physics part today, but definitely in the regular classes, okay, you will enjoy the class from Renuka ma'am also. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining today, and now we will meet you in the live classes. Good night. Thank you. Bye everyone.